I'm a museum man and I work with images particularly.
So my version, actually, Ramchandra series is closer to the ancient versions of the Ramayana.
Well, it's so good to meet you at last. For most British people, Diwali means light. Most people don't know very much about Lord Ram or about the return to Ayodhya. It's about light, and then it's about those amazing sweets with silver and gold over
Yeah.
the top of them.
Put on load to it.
Which are just amazing. The fact that you can eat silver and gold. And that's one of the things I found wonderful about the Google site on Diwali, is that it tells you how you make gold or silver so thin that you can eat it. Because it's always been a great mystery to me. I didn't really believe for a long time that it was silver or gold on the top of the sweet. But now I know that it is. And watching that being made, and I'm just saying, but I think those are the two things it really means. But one of the things I find most interesting about the Google Arts and Culture site about Diwali is the fact that you can look very carefully at some of the illustrations, these wonderful, particularly miniature paintings for moments of Diwali, and you can get very close up. They show how, when in the 19th century, cheap colour imagery became so easy to produce and so available to everybody, the images of goddesses like Lakshmi get fixed and get widespread. And that's what I found really fascinating to watch, how the way we think about the gods and goddesses is made possible by this new technology.
There was this very influential painter called Raja Ravi Verma, who was from the south, who was from Kerala. Beautiful paintings, and but yes, he made prints as well, and which were distributed very widely. And it has changed the imagery of our gods.
You've done more than anybody in recent years to make people think again, read again about the story of Ram and what it means. How did that happen to you? Why did you choose Ram for the subject of the big series of books?
Each generation has its own take, on these ancient stories. So I'm sure you've heard of the television serial, right? The Ramayana,
every British Indian, every Indian I know watch that.
So,
and of course, it's become again in lockdown.
And it got a viewership of 80 million. That's more than Game of Thrones.
It's astonishing.
So it's like we never tire of hearing, different renditions of the same story. And perhaps that's what I'm trying to do with the Ramchandra series, that a rendition of the story for our age,
yes.
for our generation.
One of the great discussions in the 19th century in Europe was what makes a people, what makes a community. And what became very clear very quickly is that we are the stories we tell our children.
Beautiful.
That's what makes us. And the real stories, the big stories, are stories that are always true, always different, but also where we can be all the different characters.
We are the stories that we hear because they're the greatest carriers of culture. Right? We see our archetypes, we see our land, we see our culture, we see the things we stand for.
Diwali now is one of the things that's celebrated by lots of non-Hindus in Britain. And in fact, if you want to become a British citizen now, you have to pass a little test on what it means to be British. In that test, you need to know not only about Christmas, but about Hanukkah, Eid, and Diwali. Before you can be a British citizen. What is interesting about it is that it's become very much about a winter festival of light. It's joined Hanukkah and Christmas as those great moments when you go into the darkness, but you know that you're going to come out.
What we're in a way commemorating is the furthest that the sun has gone away from us.
Exactly.
In the northern hemisphere. It is the darkest that it will get.
Yes.
And beyond this, the tide turns. The sun returns to us. The sun god returns to us. We get more light. And this is the worst that it will get, and this is the darkest that it will get in the year. It will only improve from now.
One of the reasons we're not in the same room, Amish, is because you're self-isolating, just having come back from India. I presume that means that you're not going to be able to spend Diwali with your son.
I think my son is much stronger than I am emotionally. He's 11 years old. Kids tend to be strong. The way I see it, look, the spirit of Diwali is, essentially see the silver lining, see the positive part of it. Things will get better. The days will get longer. So let's approach Diwali from that perspective as well, from a positive perspective.
That's exactly
Of
right.
course, and at least we can see, thanks to technology, we can see our family. We're not cut off completely.
Exactly, and as you say, it's the great moment to remember that Diwali, all these midwinter light festivals, they're about hope. They're about absolute hope and knowing that we'll all get through somehow.
We will get through this.
Yeah.
Lord Ram will take us home.
Thank you. Thank you very much.